Hello, children. Hope you all are well and staying safe at your home. For me, today is a very special day, and not for me, for all the Bengali peoples. Today is a special day. Today is Pochishe Boishak. Yes, today is 8th May 2020, and today is Pochishe Boishak, the birthday of Rabindranath Tagore. This is a very satire moment for all the nation, for all the country of India. With the peoples of India, we are feeling very regret for that we cannot just exercise, we cannot just perform different things on Rabindranath Tagore's birthday. As because we all are locked down inside our house, we cannot just do anything. So that's why the day is one hand is very important, is very enthusiast, is a day with great enthusiasm, and in other hand a very remorseful day for me. Children, you may think that why I'm just telling about Rabindranath Tagore, his birthday and all this thing. You hope, you anticipate as a teacher that I will just teach the chapter, I will just give you the lesson of different historical texts, different historical thoughts and all these. But children, I just cannot be strictly confined in just giving teachings, in just learning and all these things. Apart from that, this is my responsibility also to just give you the reminder, as because due to the lockdown situation, due to this pandemic situation, I think children that most of you have just missed the day, you have just forgotten that today is Rabindranath's birthday. Okay, so children, I told that this is a very satire moment for not only for me, it's for all of you, it's for all the nations, it's for all the citizens of our country, India. We're not feeling well, we are just strictly confined in our own room, but we are not feeling well. We want to just go outside, we want to just perform different things, we want to just perform on Rabindranath Tagore's, but this is Rabindra Jayanti, today is Rabindra Jayanti, and we cannot do anything. So in that context, yes, today's topic is very related with that. Today's topic is Europe in the 19th century, and the name of the chapter is Europe in the 19th century, chapter number 3, conflict of monarchical and nationalist ideas. If you don't know, children, that what is nation, what is nationalism, then you won't be able to just come to know about this chapter, you won't be know anything about this chapter. First of all, you have to know what is meant by nation, what is nationalism, from where is the word nation and nationalism derived from. Everything you have to just come to know from me. Nation, what is the meaning of nation? How was the feelings of nationalism just awakened by the Europeans? How can we just come to know that what is nation, what is nationalism, etc.? We will just get all the answers if you just watch, if you just listen me carefully. After the completion of today's teaching, I am very much confident that you will just come to know that what is the meaning of nation, what is the meaning of nationalism and everything. Perhaps you may think, children, that we know that what is the meaning of nation, nationalism, as because so many times in your history book or in any other book you have just read this, that nationalism, nation and all these things, but I'm pretty sure about that you don't know what is the exact meaning in the historical terms, in the historical in which way the term can be just exercised, it can be just termed in a different way. Nation, nationalism, in this chapter today, in today's learning, we'll just come to know everything, every important facts will be just unrevealed today. So this is my recommendation, don't just skip the video, just watch the video till end. Okay, concepts of nation state and nationalism. In the last or the previous two chapters we have studied about Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleonic Empire, and the previous chapter in chapter number 1, I think, in that chapter we have just come to know about the French Revolution. French Revolution, when I just taught this chapter to you, children. I told so many times that French Revolution is having an utmost importance in our lives. From there only, the name of the chapter, Europe in the 19th century conflict of the monarchical and nationalist ideals, will be just intermingled, as because Napoleonic Empire, Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleonic wars, and French Revolution, how did it pave a new way? How did it pave a new window for all the peoples of the world? They had just come to know about the nation states. The idea of nationalism was just provoked. So we can tell that there were lots of consequences and the impacts of the French Revolution that had just means spread out all over the world. First of all, let me tell you, children, that when the French Revolution occurred, the peoples of French, even the third estates, they could not even imagine that they could just get a read over the monarchical government, over the monarchs at the time, over the Louis XVI at the time. They even couldn't just imagine that. They only saw to think that they were only the tax bearers. They had just, God has given their lives to just bear, to just means pay away all the taxes and the revenues to the government, to the clergy, and to the nobles. They couldn't just think that the idea of general will, citizen, that all these terms were absolutely just vanished from the dictionary of the French people. But finally, what has happened in the year of 1789? On 14th of July, what was happened? The storming of Bastille was occurred, and from there, the spark of the French Revolution was just sparked out. It was just a huge outburst from the third estate peoples, and that was just spread out all over the world. I mean, all over the world, not all over the country. So, idea of nationalism, what is a nation? The concept will be very clear to you shortly. For the first time, when the peoples, the common peoples of the third estates of the French society, they sought to think that we cannot just fight against the French government. We cannot just fight against the French monarchy, the nobles and the clergies. But finally, they did so. At the time, when they sought to think that if we fight not individually, if we fight unitedly, if we fight holding the hands of one another, if we can just fight, just means touching our own hands on the shoulder of others, it can just bring a huge revolution in the society. And you know, children, that what is the meaning of revolution? A drastic and the far-reaching change of the contemporary society or a contemporary period, which is having a long-lasting as well as the immediate effect or the consequences of the society. So when for the first time since the French Revolution, they had just fought against the extortion and the exploitation of the monarchical government and their two associates, first estate clergy and the second estate, obviously that was the nobles. They had just fought shoulder to shoulder. They had advocated, they had raised their voice, they became very much vocal about it. And what was the most important outcome? We know that the revolt of 1789, the revolution of 1789 became successful. So when all the peoples, they sought to think that we all are together, there was an example or an instance of the perfect amalgamation when all the peoples of third estate, they got amalgamated together and they had fought unitedly against the French monarchical government, and that movement became quite successful. This is called nationalism. In the beginning of the video, I told that I'm feeling very much remorseful. This is a very pathetic moment for all of us, that we cannot just perform anything. Yes, we can just perform sitting inside our room, but we should just perform all these things. We should just distribute our happiness with all others, but we cannot do in this lockdown situation, in this lockdown period. So that's why we're having the same aspiration, anticipation, desire. This is the love, this is the patriotism, this is the devotion towards our country, isn't it? This is called nationalism. When when in a particular geographical area, few means all the peoples, they will think that they are very means they are equal in their rights, they are equal in their own beliefs, thoughts, in their own cultural life. And when they just exchange their ideas, their thoughts, beliefs, arguments, and the same language, few means food habits, cuisines, etc., this is called a nation. As because we the peoples of India, we can say that India is a nation state. Why so? As because India is also having a particular geographical area, you know, from its geography book. So India is having a particular geographical area, whereas we can see that India is our motherland. Suppose, for instance, I'm saying that a cricket match is going on between India and Pakistan. A person, a cricket lover, he or she is watching the cricket from Mumbai. And me, myself also, just watching the cricket from here, from Chakda, from Nadia district. If India loses a match, what can be happened? Both the person, means me and that person, that boy, we will just get very much means disheartened for that, as because India has just lost the match. But if India wins the match, if India win the match over Pakistan, hooray! Yes, at the time we can say that yes, we have just won. So only 11 players, 11 players, they have been just playing over there, but still we are thinking that we have won. When India just means got the victory, when India won the World Cup cricket in the year of 2011 last time, we all thought that we have won, means the feeling was awesome. We could think that we had won, not Mahendra Singh Dhoni and his team, we had won. The feeling was there, isn't it? This is called nationalism. Whenever we're having the love, patriotism, the passion to do anything, to just sacrifice our own lives for anything, this is called nationalism. And how did nationalism and the idea of nation state come in the 19th century Europe? We will come to know from this chapter. Nation state, I have already told you, I have already given the explanation. I think this is pretty clear to you, that you have just come to know what is the meaning of the nation state, as well as you have also just come to know about what is nationalism and the national thoughts or the feelings. Now one by one I will tell you that what which causes were responsible for the outbreak of the nationalist ideals. First and the foremost thing is that, you know, children, since the French Revolution, the feudal lords, they previously, before the French Revolution, the feudal lords, they were very active. They were very active, means proactive in their own territory. Even they had started exploitation. They had exploitating the common peoples in the name of the monarchical government or the monarchs. But finally, what has happened, children, when the feudalism was absolutely abolished from the different countries of the European continent, since that time, the common peoples, they got just amalgamated together, and they sought to think that India means the country is a nation state. Like France was also a nation state since that time, as because when the feudal lords they had exploited, they had extorted, they had tormented the common peoples of the France. And when the finally the feudalism, when the feudalism system was absolutely disbanded and it was clearly just abolished in France, only one particular monarch or the monarchical government was there, and there was no one to just interpret or interfere in the administrative structure, in the administrative works in monarch or the monarchy. So that's why this single thought, this single belief, as because no one was there to create any kind of quarreling, any kind of injustice amongst the common peoples, amongst the farmers and the tourist people. So that's why one single rule, one single monarch could create this kind of idea of nationalism. Henceforth, we could say this is our first topic to discuss, that is the abolition, the abolition of the feudalism or the feudal lords, feudal system, just gave a birth to the outbreak, to the formation of nationalism in France, and that had spread all around the world. Number two, the Christian church also gave its earlier opposition to royal power and became supporters of the powerful monarchy. So previously, royal power was very much criticized by the priest or the clergies, but whenever the clergies and the priest, they sought to think that without the support of the king, without the support of a particular monarch, we cannot just stick in our own position. Since that time, henceforth it paved the way for the development of the nationalist thinking in the minds of the Christians also. So when the Christian church, they also had just given their supports to the one single monarch, one single monarchical government. Since that time, all the common peoples also, they also sought to think that yes, this is our country and we have to work unitedly. If we just work individually, if there is no existence of the collaborative work or cooperative works, at the time the country cannot be developed. I think, children, you all are familiar with that fable. A great story was there, and the story was perhaps a farmer was there, and he was having four sons, and the four sons, they had just quarreling every time with one another. So one day the farmer called everyone and just gave a bunch of sticks, and he told to everyone to just break it. When they tried single, means when they had just tried to just break the bunch of the sticks, no one became able to just break it, as because few more streams were there, a few sticks were there, and it could not have been possible for a single one to just break that. But finally, when he just opened out, when he just pulled out one single stick and gave it one another, one after one, so they just easily broke the stick. It means unity is the strength. And the common peoples, they had just learned it, that unity is the strength from the French Revolution. The outcome or the most important significance of the French Revolution was the liberty, equality and fraternity, for what they had cried for a long time. They had exactly just come to know that what were the concepts of equality, liberty and fraternity. We know, children, that when Napoleon Bonaparte came, Napoleon Bonaparte became a vibrant wing for them. He also became very much vocal, but ultimately he did not give all those rights to the hands of the common people. As in, he sought to think that if all the powers are being just vested upon the common peoples or the common persons, at the time the country will be fully republic. In the republic country, different leaders will come, different political parties will be just aroused, and a chaotic situation may be made. For that reason, it was expressed, it was expected by Napoleon Bonaparte, and he was absolutely reluctant to give all the important idealistic feelings, all the important expectations, all the important desires to the common people. So that's why so many of the French Revolution, the common cry of French Revolution, or the basic three ideals of the French Revolution, were absolutely just neglected by Napoleon and his ideas. So, children, up to this, all the facts were responsible for the outbreak of the nationalism, and the nationalist feeling became very much active during that time. So these factors mentioned above jointly helped in giving rise to a number of national states under the powerful kings. Children, you must remember that the first two nation states in the European continent were England and France. I just repeat, this question may be very important for your exam. Which two states become the first two nation state of the European continent? This would be number one, France, and number two, this will be England. I repeat, France and England became the first two nation state of the European continent. I've also given the concept about nationalism. I don't think that there should have any question regarding the nationalism. How did it arise inside the country of the European continent?